What up, what up? Bodyguard, back again for another post, y'all. Alright, today we're gonna jump straight into it. We're talking about Modern Warfare 3. Alright, I'm recording this on the day before release day, okay? I got some things to say about that campaign. It just is what it is. Unfortunately, this is not a regular release. Alright, y'all, let's get into this. I got this brand new list of things that I'm gonna talk about to outline my reviews. Alright, first things first. Of course, you know, we're gonna start off with that gameplay. Alright, then we're gonna jump into graphics and visuals. Alright, sound and music is next. We're gonna talk about that storyline and of course the narrative. Because without that, your game's gonna flop immediately. Sucks without it. Alright, we gotta talk about level design. We got to talk about the world building. We know Activision does have a bit of a strong suit when it comes to this type of thing, all right? Then we're going to jump into the replayability factor, of course, and the content that is released with the game. Because if you don't release the game with content that it needs to be released with, then you end up like Cyberpunk 2076 or whatever that game was. Or maybe I'm mixing Fallout 76. Oops, my bad. It just, you know, these games that keep releasing unfinished, it just bothers the hell out of me. And it should start to bother you guys too, all right? From there, we're gonna move forward to multiplayer and of course, the online features. Now we know that these guys released this game just for that. Nobody does it better when it comes to Call of Duty, when it comes to that multiplayer, all right? It's so bad, I guess it's so good that they had to go ahead and release a whole nother section like that was just dealing with just online features. And of course that has been rebranded and repackaged and served right back to us with no upgrades. That is a problem, all right? From there, we're gonna go to the technical performance, all right? Technical performance is one of those things that Call of Duty does really well, all right? These guys seem to know what they're doing up under the hood. When they put this thing together, they knew exactly what it wanted to do. And of course, they've got uber amounts of experience. So this is one of those things that we're probably not going to have too much of a problem with, all right? Then we're going to talk about that target reach factor, all right? Did these guys hit all the marks that they needed to hit with everybody that they were aiming at? All right, guys, let's jump right on into this. Here again, I'm back with Heavy Attack Games. All right, so first up on the list of things that we need to talk about, let's talk about that gameplay, all right? The gameplay is as tight as ever. All right, it's just as tight as it was last year. And if you're looking for any of the major tweaks from the settings that have been there from last year, of course you know where to go to find them because it's just the same as last year. Doesn't make any sense. How do we keep letting these guys get away with it? All right, I'm gonna tell you what I did, all right? Because I can't let you guys go forth without knowing what I did. All right, I liked last year's edition so much, I bought it twice. I bought it once for the PlayStation, and then I bought the Vault edition for the Xbox, okay? Seeing that PlayStation has a much better model when it comes to online gameplay, this year I flipped it. So I bought the Vault edition for the PlayStation, and I'm gonna buy the regular edition. Haven't bought it yet, but more than likely probably gonna buy it. Why? Because I like the game just as much now as I did last year, okay? So they got me, but that's just because they released the same game that I really enjoyed the last year, okay? All right, but like I said, the controls tight as I don't know what, all right? I really enjoy playing this game on both systems, and it's one of those things that you don't know how much you like it until you try it. It is what it is, okay? So everybody out there, don't knock it till you try it. Even though it is the same game as last year, if you were comfortable with the gameplay from last year, the tightness and the fluidity and the controls, the movement and everything that goes along with it, then you're probably gonna enjoy this game this year, okay? I'll try not to wrap myself up in things that, you know, don't really concern me. Like the business model for what they decided to do with this game. That was one of those things that they didn't include me in, okay? I'm a consumer. Now I'm a reviewer, all right? So that might concern me just a little bit more than it did last year. Last year I was just streaming. This year I'm reviewing. All right, y'all. So gameplay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to check a check mark on that bad boy because we liked it as much as we did last year. And for each and every module that I agree with on their performance, they're going to get that check mark. That equals 1 point. All right, we got 10 modules. At the end of that, it's going to let us know whether or not this game is gas or trash, okay? That's how we doing it. That's where we going. Maybe attack games, we here to stay. Okay, now we're jumping over into the graphics and visuals. All right, if you loved the visceral gore of last year, then guess what? It's back. And with no deviation, no variation, no changes, no nothing. Of course, I'm playing the campaign mode before release date. Who knows? We might get a huge update to bump it up from where it was at that 218 gigabytes per download, because you had to download last year's game along to get this game. Look, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. I guess I'm gonna have to say it every time they do it. So I guess they've been doing it for maybe about 5-6 years now. So I guess I'm gonna keep on saying it. I think I got about 7 more times. So we're gonna get into these graphics. All right, now off the rip, I just really enjoyed the character models that they put together for this game. All right, I love what they did with the multiplayer aspect of it, which we're gonna get into that a little later after it releases. But I just enjoyed everything they did with the adding of the characters, to putting together your loadouts, to all of that good stuff. All right, so, and those guns, me being a bodyguard, I've shot quite a few of these weapons, and I will say that the majority of the weapons do handle and feel the way that they feel in real life. Don't believe me? Go to a gun range. You can get the chance to fire off these weapons. You'll see what I'm talking about. Probably make you like it just that much more. Next up, we're gonna talk sound and music, okay? Each and every last score that these guys have implemented into this game just fits the setting perfectly. I mean, if you haven't made it through the campaign, I like to pay attention to the subtle nuances of the things that are going on in the background, okay? Who cares if it's just like the same game as last year, all right? For me, I think that it's the little things that count, all right? And the tone setting of the music just is unmatched, all right? I've only seen musical scoring as good as this in one other video game that released this year, okay? And that was God of War Ragnarok. And you guys know I mention God of War Ragnarok all the time. Why? Because that is my pick for, I might have to wait and save that for another channel, or wait and save that for another video. Nah, I'm just messing with you guys. All right, you know how I feel about God of War. All right, this game right here, the music and scoring to me is on that same level. All right, so this gets a check mark, okay? So far right now, we got gameplay check mark, we got graphics check mark, all right? We got sound and music check mark, all right? Now we're in the story and narrative part, guys. All right, now here's where it gets a little murky, okay? Last year, I really liked what they did with the story. I think they fleshed out the characters way more. I just felt a bit more of a connection with last year's game when it comes to characters like Soap, when it comes to characters like Price, when it comes to characters like, of course, these characters we got to see in the 2018 game, but you know, it's one of those things to where it's just like last year Modern Warfare 2 really did cement how I felt about these guys. All right, especially from, if you haven't played last year's game, go back and play last year's game so you know what I'm talking about. But that situation that they had when Graves just turned on everybody and decided he was just gonna do what he was gonna do with Shadow Company, that was messed up. It sucked, all right? But there's a little bit of a wrap up on that story. So hopefully you guys get the chance to go ahead and play it. I would play it because I enjoyed the gameplay. I enjoyed the game, period. So it's just one of those things that I'm gonna be doing. Hopefully you join me. All right, so the way they told the story this year, I really didn't like the delivery. I think it was more problematic because of the gameplay setup into the way that they delivered these cutscenes. It was one of those things that kind of just was off-putting for me. I feel like when you have events that are triggered by things in the game, I think that the gameplay should set that up for a bigger payoff. It's like normal storytelling. I would feel like you got the introduction, then you got a bit of a rising action, then you got a little bit of a downfall, right? And then you got more rising action, okay? And then you got the climax, which happens here, and then you drop on down till you get to the conclusion. All right, so what I'm talking about is pacing, all right? And the gameplay combined with the choices that they made with the open world setting deal, it just made for really bad pacing. And that was my biggest issue with this campaign. I feel like you need to put this thing in a place where it's supposed to go. And it just kind of felt disjointed for me. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. I just felt like it was something that didn't need to be done that way. We're going to say that they missed on that one when it comes to the story and narrative. It just, even though we got to see some conclusions that we've been wanting to see for a long time, it just kind of just missed the mark with me because the gameplay wasn't compelling enough to warrant that type of payoff. I just didn't feel like I got to do enough, all right? And then I found myself sprinting around the map, doing everything as fast as possible because I didn't want to play Solid Snake. If I wanted to do that, then I probably would have just popped in Metal Gear Solid 5. It is what it is, okay? Wasn't for me, all right? And I understand that you can't run and gun, but I take that back. I can run and gun. This is Call of Duty. That's what I'm gonna do. It's a war, all right? I'm gonna run and gun all day long when it gets to that multiplayer. It is what it is. So if you see me out there, that tag is Nestle34. I'm gonna be out there running and gunning tomorrow night, or if you're watching this the day after, today. So look me up, Nestle34. Might have to go ahead and put my stuff on screen. If you want to play with me, I'm with it. All right, y'all. Let's get on to the next subject. Let's talk level design, world building. All right. I think that these levels were well crafted. I enjoyed playing each and every last level that they had in the game. The one thing I will say is that they did feel a bit small. I mean, coming off of Spider-Man 2 and then jumping into this campaign where these guys are touting it's supposed to be an open world experience, this felt like an open backyard, okay? It was like if Spider-Man 2 was the neighborhood, okay, this felt like the backyard at one particular house. It just, I think they really missed the mark on that one. It just wasn't good for me. It felt too small. I felt like I could run across the map myself with my own lungs. That's not good. Especially because I'm using my thumbs, okay? So I should feel like there's a bit more for me to explore in this open world game. And then on top of that, I just felt like the unlockables that you would grab throughout the world just didn't really seem like something that I would expect in a Call of Duty game, all right? Like, I get that sometimes you run into situations where you don't have stuff, all right? But every single mission, you don't have a loadout to choose from. Like, you didn't just leave a military base to get on a plane. Like, it's stupid, okay? I thought it was crazy when they were doing it for Metal Gear. Now, I understand sometimes in a realistic situation, you can't travel with these type of things over major airways internationally. It just is not realistic. I understand that. But we're talking about the U.S. Army, okay? These guys can get whatever they need wherever they're trying to get it to go. It just, for me, given the view that they're trying to portray, it just didn't match up for me, okay? Bothered me to no end. So I'm going to have to go ahead and drop it off on that one. When it comes to the level design and world building, these guys missed the mark. Let's talk replayability, okay? The content that was released with this game. Do I want to play this campaign over again after I sat there playing it for all of the... And see, I have more than 4 hours because I played it on hardened the first time through. I was familiar with the gameplay, familiar with the mechanics, so that got me through on hardened in about 6 to 7 hours. Now, I don't consider myself to be like a super prolific game player or anything like that. No, I just am a guy who enjoys playing video games and enjoys talking about them even more. So that's where we're at with that. All right, and I will say that release day is coming. Okay, that's tomorrow for me. All right, if you're seeing this any other time, let me know what it was like for you. All right, I did enjoy the little splashback that we get, because this is like, for me, this is like the juices that drip off of the steak after it's grilled. Okay, like the campaign for Call of Duty has never been one of those things that's just been like, okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Call of Duty campaign. Like, no, we're looking forward to the gameplay so we can get to that multiplayer. As a matter of fact, I always believed that the campaign was the training precursor to the multiplayer. And I think that happened probably about, I would say, Modern Warfare World at War, I want to say it was. Yeah, so around that time, we just all knew. I think that was right after Modern Warfare 2 or right before. Either one, I don't know. Look, don't get me to lie, okay? But I will say that since I've been playing Call of Duty, that's just the way it's been for me, okay? I play the campaign so I can get better at the multiplayer. That's just the natural flow of things, I thought. If it's not, somebody let me know. Remind me of how Call of Duty is supposed to go, okay? Because those guys put a lot of time into that multiplayer. They put a lot of time into it, and I will say that multiplayer is always good stuff. It's always pristine. Now, the only time the multiplayer sucks is if the gameplay sucks. And with Call of Duty, it's one of those situations that they've been on point with. As far as replaying content goes for the campaign, that's a no for me. All right. If I wanted to run around a sandbox where I could shoot people and have a good time, I just play DMZ solo mode, because that's exactly what it was. This is DMZ like all over again. Like it's crazy to me. I don't know why they would have done something like this and called it a campaign. And on top of that, there wasn't enough of a refresh in the gameplay for them to even have done something like this. Like if I was Activision, I would have tried to lessen the blow of people knowing that I'm trying to stick you for your paper by giving you the same thing over and over again. Like I say, EA Sports has done this time after time after time after time. I mean, I've seen Angry Joe break computer keyboards and slam headphones and all kind of stuff. So we know Madden is just terrible when it comes to re-releases, and Call of Duty is traveling down that same road. Gotta stop, guys. Need you to stop, okay? You guys have been on top for a while. I would like you to stay there. You ain't gonna get there, or you ain't gonna stay there by doing this. All right, y'all. They missed the mark on this one. It's an X. Sorry. Can't do it. Can't ride with you on this one. All right, so the next topic is going to be multiplayer and online features. All right, you guys know what it is. Got to wait till midnight before I can even do something on that. So I think that's precisely what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to wait until I get some time into the multiplayer before I rate this one. Not going to wait to drop this video. Now we're here for technical performance. All right, I am not a game tester. I am not a game coder, okay? The only knowledge that I have of what a technical performance should be is my level of enjoyability that I feel when the game comes out the package and into my system. All right. As you can see, these guys have the same menu, the same exact menu, the same everything from last year. So if it worked well last year, it works well this year. I like the way the game looks. I like the way it performs. That gameplay is solid. It is very solid. It doesn't stutter, skip, mess up on my PlayStation. I normally like to play it at the highest frame rate that I can, that the PlayStation will allow me to do. All right. So I'm going to have to go ahead and say it does just work when it works. So these guys get a check mark for me on the technical performance. All right, y'all. Let's get over to the next one. All right, now it's time to talk about that target audience reach. Guys, did they do it? Did they reach you? Or did they put you off by releasing the same thing over and over again? Or did they re-grab you by releasing something that you already liked last year For me, they got me. All right. So if you agree with me and you're a part of that target reach, like I know so many of you are, because there are a lot of us who, are wearing T-shirts and we're putting on hats and we are already streaming and making content and everything else on this game. So I would have to say they get a check mark from me. They hit that target audience. All right. Everybody got hit with the arrow. Once again, Cupid strikes again. I think we all gonna love this one. All right. Just how I feel. Okay. Am I mad about the way that they going about their business practices? Yes. Do I enjoy what they putting out anyway? Yes. Do I want more? Yes. And also, hell, I'll see you guys next time, all right, for the next video. I got some more I want to say, but I'm going to wait till I play the full game, all right? Quite a bit of content that they showed, but I haven't seen anything to talk about yet. So as soon as I get that, we're going to jump right back in here for Heavy Attack Games, y'all. All right, I appreciate y'all showing up to talk about this with me. If you got anything you want to tell me in the comments about how you felt about any of this stuff that I talked about, let me know. Other than that, I'm out.
Jack Boy Squad Music.